Right, so we are currently 3 days into the NBA season. 4, if you're counting the day of me recording this. But I thought my first video of the year was going to be made around the actual basketball that's getting played at the moment. Not the off-court stuff that is actually going down at the moment. If you guys are unaware or you've been under a rock or anything for the last 48 hours, basically we've had both a current player and a head coach both arrested for gambling in the NBA. This is basically my sort of take on it now that I sort of know little bits here and there about like what's going on, what's happened, what the accusations are, that sort of thing. This is all a fantasy world at the moment because they haven't actually been charged yet. Both Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, they both haven't been charged yet. But I think the evidence to me looks pretty good. There's talks with Chauncey Billups' situation. First of all, I may as well touch on Chauncey Billups' situation because he's the one that sounds like he's in the most hot water. Which is crazy for me because the fact that it is a coach and not a player is some of the most absurd turn of events I've ever seen. But it's because not of basketball, it is because of an underground poker tournament. How, if you're coaching an NBA team and you're a former player, you are worth millions of dollars. You are worth more money than probably me, the bloke that lives down the street, and the other bloke that lives around the corner from me. You are worth more money than many people all combined. And you still feel the need to rig poker games with the mafia? For some reason, Chauncey Billups, who is the head coach of a National Basketball Association team, is in ties with the mafia. Why? I don't understand the thought process. If you're worth so much, you're worth enough money for you to live your entire life. You pass away and your kids would be able to live without working a day in their life, realistically, if they wanted to. It's just the thing for me is it just makes no sense in my brain, and it's becoming more and more popular, which makes no sense to me because, 20 years ago when you spoke about Michael Jordan and his gambling problems and everything going on with that, the difference with that was, first of all, Jordan wasn't gambling on his own games. He was gambling on poker and blackjack and whatever else at the casino. So that, you can kind of... That's his problem. That's not sort of everyone else's problem, if that makes sense. So, the biggest thing with me is 20 years ago, with the contract situation what it was, I would have understood if someone had, done a couple of underground things, done a couple of transactions of that sort of nature, all because their contract situation technically wasn't enough for them to retire or actually live a good life. But if we are in today's NBA, where the smallest contract you can get as an NBA player is around $2 million a year, $2 million is like 10 times what the average person makes in 10 years. People work 15 years to make that same amount of money that you do for one 82-game season. So why, in this current NBA, are players feeling like they need to do extra? Obviously, there is always a drive to make more and make all this money and be able to feed as many mouths as you humanly can. But for me, players like Terry Rozier, second of all, I will touch on Terry Rozier now because I'm kind of getting carried away a bit. Terry Rozier basically is in the news and has now been arrested for fixing games, pretty much. There was one game that they're looking into where basically Terry played atrociously bad. It was to the point where I seen clips of it over the internet because you know the internet's undefeated. They're instantly going to dig it up as soon as they've seen the news and the reports and everything else. He was throwing lackluster turnovers, shooting uncontested air balls, passing to absolutely nobody. There was one clip where he's at the top of the key and for whatever reason he's basically passed it into the backcourt for them to get an easy layup. And then he's half gotten back on defense, but ended up putting his hands behind his back. So he was no help to anyone at all. So that's basically Terry Rozier's situation. He's kind of in the hot water for fixing games. Which, for me, touching on now Terry Rozier, you're a hell of a good basketball player. You are good enough of a basketball player. You were getting called Scary Terry when you were on the Boston Celtics. Because you were genuinely a high production, great offensive, you were a talent. He was able to score the basketball at a high clip. He wasn't horrific on defense, but he would dig his heels in from time to time. He was efficient. He would pass the ball. He would move without the ball. He just did everything well for that Boston team. And that's what awarded him his multi-million-dollar contracts that he is currently... Well, he was on. I don't know what the situation is now, but he's now no longer on it because he is in a federal prison somewhere. It just... I really don't get it. Obviously, I can't put myself directly in their shoes of why their motivation is what it is and why they've done it. Because 2 years ago, we had DeJounte Porter. If you remember DeJounte Porter, he was an end-of-the-bench guy. He really didn't get a lot of minutes. He was on the Toronto Raptors when all the scandals and stuff sort of went along. He was proven guilty of fixing games. He was basically sending his mates messages saying, I'm going to play this amount of minutes tonight, I'm only going to shoot this many threes, and I'm only going to score this many points. So his friends would obviously go straight onto their phones. They would put in all of those details into whatever sports book or whatever site that it's, one of the 1 million sports books that we have on the internet these days. I've done all this ranting and just realised my mic's over here. I hope the audio quality's not too bad, but I've been speaking quite loudly, so you probably have been able to hear me. I think he was charged. I saw something the other day. DeJounte Porter was actually charged prior to also getting banned for life from the NBA. So if Terry Rozier's anything like it, Terry Rozier being put in a federal prison not only means he's never going to play basketball again, he could possibly play it in Europe or, I don't know, some Turkish league or someone will take him. Without a doubt in my mind. Somebody will pick him up and play him because he is a good basketball player. But he will no longer play NBA ever again. And Chauncey Billups is also no longer going to be the head coach of the Blazers. Why would you throw away a career like that just for a couple of extra dollars? Obviously, in my case, it was probably a hell of a lot of a couple of extra dollars. They probably made millions doing it. But they're also on contracts in a business that the smallest contract you can get is over $1 million. And some people that live this life and some people that slave away every single day to all these sorts of trades and tricks and all their professions, they don't see $1 million in their bank account in their lifetime. So why would you go for that couple of extra mil? Why would you waste it all on trying to make this money, through these dodgy scandals? It doesn't comprehend in my head. I don't get it. Obviously, for me, the more interesting one and the one that we sort of need more unfolding on is the Chauncey Billups situation. Because that man's tied to the mafia. Why is a head coach tied to the mafia? I don't get it. It makes no sense. Yeah, that's basically it. I just kind of wanted to come on and rant and touch on, what's going on at the moment with all this stuff, because to me, it's just mind-blowing. There's been a hell of a lot of good basketball on at the moment, which I'm very thankful for. We're 4 days into the season now, and we have had nothing but bangers. OKC has played 4 overtime periods in 2 games. Golden State also goes to overtime in the season opener against Denver, with Aaron Gordon dropping a 50-piece. Like, this is the kind of basketball that I want to be reporting on. Not that a head coach and a player is in a federal prison because they are doing the dodgies. It's incredible. It's seriously incredible. But yeah, that's about it. Bit of a different video for you guys today, but I hope you enjoyed it regardless. The love that I've been getting on videos recently has been immaculate, and I thank you guys so much. Like, we are slowly growing, and I appreciate the positive comments that I get from some of you guys. Like, my favorite part of all of this is being able to talk to you guys. So if you guys can put something in the comments that I can reply to, because I see them all. I see them all and I reply to them all. And I like talking to you guys back and forth. So if you can drop something for me where we can have a chat, blah, 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 that's amazing. And just kind words, well wishes, that sort of thing. Like, I appreciate every single bit of it. I just want to create a positive basketball space. That's all I'm trying to do. And just make everybody that's watching my content and see my content feel, involved and feel like it's a safe space where they can say whatever they like. Because I'm just, positive media is basically what I'm trying to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be awesome. No 60-second review today. I've got a couple of bit of stuff going on. And there's 12 games of basketball. So I don't actually, unfortunately, have the time today. So you won't see that on your TikTok later. But I've got this out for you guys today. So I hope you enjoy this regardless. Thank you guys so much. I will see you in another couple of days' time. And keep enjoying the hoops. Thank you, guys.